Uh-huh.
Ba 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 ba.
Dun, dun, dun,
Super Bowl.
Ba 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 ba.
dun, dun,
Super Bowl.
Ba 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 ba.
Three guys and a bear. Sign off with this episode until the draft starts. 8 April or something. Burp.
That is correct. The draft is April 24th.
Yeah. Although last year we did like a free agency show too.
Oh yeah, we did.
We did like 2 of those.
April 23rd. 23rd.
23rd.
So we'll do that again, I think, right? Like I'm down to do more free agency stuff.
Honestly, the offseason is some of my favorite things to talk about.
Yeah.
Because, there's so many players swapping teams. You got mock drafts. You got, it's a fun time.
Or a Bucks fan, the offseason is a fun time.
Hey, last year we got Za'Darius and Preston Smith and Adrian Amos, and it helped us quite a bit, I'd say. So it can make some changes in your franchise that you enjoy, and the Jets got a lot of players as well.
Yeah.
And we got Bruce Arians.
You sure did.
I like Bruce Arians. Like, I want to make sure that's clear. I like Bruce Arians. He's a hell of
come around.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I think everyone knows my stance on the situation.
I think we do.
Yeah.
So, last year we did the Super Bowl show, and then a month later we did the free agency show, and then a month later we did the pre-draft, and we did the post-draft, and we live streamed the draft. So yeah, we got some things here and there, but the weekly shows are on hiatus until the preseason. So
Guys, you're not going to cover the XFL?
Maybe we could throw in an XFL special if it lasts 3 weeks and doesn't die.
More than What was the defunct football league that
AFL?
It lasted for 3 games, and then we don't have any more.
We were considering doing podcasts on that, and it just collapsed.
It dissolved immediately.
It's like, oh man, we'll have something to actually talk about. I'm legit excited for more football, and it's gone.
Yeah. It was.
Do y'all remember the XFL team that you decided you're going to cheer for?
Battlehawks.
The Seattle Dragons.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm New York,
Battlehawks.
so Guardians.
I guess I have to
Guardians.
go for the Houston Roughnecks.
Yeah, I bet you're excited.
Woohoo!
I mean, they have a Tampa Bay team too. Technically,
They do. Yeah, the Vipers.
Yeah.
I mean, the Vipers sounds a lot cooler than Roughnecks.
That's true.
Yeah.
I hear Roughnecks. I cannot not think of Starship Troopers. I'm sorry.
Honestly, the Tampa Bay Viper quarterback, the Viper quarterback's probably a better passer than Jameis Winston.
Yeah. But he
Probably had a lot less interceptions in his whole career than Jameis Winston.
Yeah,
Winston.
but he wouldn't get as many Defensive Player of the World of the Year award nominations.
Oh my
though.
God,
Defensive player of the world.
guys!
Of the world.
The Tampa Bay coach is Mark Trestman, the ex-Bear coach that did absolutely nothing for the Bears. And they have placed receiver Antonio Callaway on IR already. So they're off to a great start.
All right,
Yeah, that's bad.
I guess I'm sticking with the Houston Roughnecks.
Yeah. There's actually, I was looking through when we were watching the Super Bowl, players from the NFL past that are on XFL team. There's actually a decent amount of guys that you would hear every so often that then disappeared that are back in the XFL.
The real question is which one of them is going to sign AB?
That's a truther.
Shit, I didn't even consider that. Although I heard that that the XFL is gonna have a hard policy on criminality. Apparently, if you got into some shit, they're not gonna take you. However, I don't think AB has gotten into any kind of off the field shit, right?
I mean, aside from going on house arrest, yeah.
Oh right, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
He's awaiting arrest, isn't he?
I couldn't tell if you were joking.
No,
Yeah,
he actually
honestly,
is under house arrest.
The saga of AB is so long, I've forgotten, honestly.
Yeah, it's we
he-
started
he-
this like remember the start of the year when we started our first episode of this show, we
Yeah.
were like, so do you think Antonio Brown's gonna get his helmet and play football? and
and talking about how like the Raiders are actually going to be unstoppable. But
well, you
then-
said that. I said they'd be okay.
Well, but I think we can all agree that they would at least be a lot better than they ended up
Oh,
being.
yeah.
If they had someone the caliber of AB on the team.
So the Patriots, they would have kept.
yeah, and the
but-
Patriots as well.
Yeah. So it's been a fun year. But
Boy, it's been a fun year.
boy, it's been a fun year.
Boy,
but
it's been a fun year.
It's been a fun year.
oh
boy.
And guess what? It's over because the Patriots didn't play in the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs and the
Aw, you got me
49ers did.
excited.
Woo!
Thought we were talking about me for a second.
So, hey, we live stream this game. I'll probably upload the VOD to the channel because everyone wants it to go on the channel. So it's like, I'll do it. Screw it.
People want to see the VOD.
They want to see the VOD. I guess they can rewatch the game and like sync it up if they really want to. But
Oh yeah, that sounds kind of fun.
yeah, so if you missed that or whatever, it'll be up there.
Plus, we are comedic geniuses.
we
so-
are
Right.
comedic geniuses. Do you guys know about
Don't even
Baby
need to
Nut?
What you say? You trailed off, which made it a lot.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just ran away and
I
talked
did
about
that for comedic timing. I got up just like, oh yeah, you guys hear about Baby Nut?
I heard
All
something.
right.
I heard something about nut, and that was it. That's all I heard.
Yeah, that's all
That
you needed
was-
to hear, honestly.
Man, that was. It still is an extremely unfortunately named character. I don't like it at all.
Hashtag.
Extremely unfortunately named, or like the best marketing that.
Oh
anyone
my
could
god.
ever have.
Twitter boots Planter's Baby Nut meme accounts for violating its rules. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Finally, they're clamping down on this poor behavior online. It's about time.
Oh my god! Imagine like Planters is gonna go down like the free speech rabbit holes. Like we deserve to have Baby Nut on this platform.
That's exactly what should happen in 2020.
Yeah,
That's not even satire anymore.
the thing is,
You're
like,
absolutely right.
I feel like this could have gone over well if they just didn't call it Baby Nut. Right?
Yeah.
yeah, you
Call
think?
it Little Nut, even. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, even Little
it's
Nut
still
is better.
bad, but it's better.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
either
it's-
way, you're going to
it's-
get memes.
It's also like his name's Mr. Peanut. You
Right.
know, if it was Baby Peanut, that would be far less. Like even just that would be
Yeah,
like,
that's true. Baby
okay.
Peanut is like,
Yeah,
okay,
Baby
yeah,
Peanut.
that's all right.
yeah.
And people
They
be like,
did this
"Ooh,
on
Baby
purpose.
Peanut."
They knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing. Let's not,
Yeah.
let's not give them at least that much credit.
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
They would have done
No,
what
100%.
any 12-year-old would have done.
Yeah.
And that's
the bitches.
make the nut
Um,
reference. 'Cause
So,
Also, I mean, as an aside, sorry, one last thing about Baby Nut.
yes.
It's very important.
Very important. It's a huge topic of discussion. It's not cute. Like,
yeah, it's creepy.
right?
It's
It's
like-
just, like Baby Yoda is adorable.
yeah, you're not putting Baby Yoda in your mouth and then eating it.
Well, at least not if you're not a monster.
Yeah.
It's,
point.
I feel like they took a swing and they hit like a weird foul ball that hit a kid.
But they ruled it a grand slam and they won the game still.
Yeah. Well, it's like they hit a home run right after and everyone's still like, I don't know. Either way, you still hit the kid. So anyway, football got played. The Chiefs 49ers, and it was a pretty good game. I think we all thought it was going to be a coin flip, and it kind of was.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, look at the win probability chart. This was pretty much a coin flip game.
It was I think at one point it was a 91% chance the 49ers would win, and then it super flipped. You know?
I don't know what you guys are talking about. It was a guaranteed Niners loss. Like 100% as soon as I thought that they would win.
Yeah,
They
that's
just
true.
lost all momentum.
Mhm.
Dude, if I'm telling you, I'm selling my services out there. If you want me to lock someone else's team, hey, it is for sale.
Well, you didn't have this curse last season,
Yeah.
so like
I
I
didn't.
wonder if it'll go into the next season.
Honestly,
maybe one of us, maybe one of the other
Yeah.
ones of us
Oh,
gets the
yeah.
curse.
Shit.
So
honestly, this power came to me after I did that podcast where half of my face was numb from the root canal. That's when it
yeah.
started to. That's when it started to fester.
Well,
and
That's it.
evolve.
the winner of the playoff pick'ems is me.
who
10
cares
and
about the
6.
playoff pick'em?
Bear 9-7, Rob 8-8, and Sinvicta at 7-9.
Who cares
Aw.
about the playoff?
Playoff.
Playoffs? Do you realize how little teams you have to go through instead of like the actual regular?
realize
Oh,
how
someone said he
accurate.
came in last. Oh no!
It's almost like these difficult even games are a lot harder to pick than Bengals versus Raiders or some shit.
Excuse me. I picked the Patriots to beat the Jets and the Dolphins, and they lost.
Well,
That's got a good point.
we had some bonus stats here. Rob in week 3 said, "Dude, I would kill to watch Jimmy G and Pat Mahomes in a shootout."
What? Let's go.
Jimmy G didn't do very well in that shootout.
That's true.
And Sinvicta closes out the year with the first ever 3-week loss streak with locks.
I mean, it shouldn't surprise you. It really shouldn't.
It gives him a longer losing streak than winning this season.
Yep.
And then it's pretty much our locks. But so yeah, the football game pretty much it was even at halftime. I think it was 10-10 at halftime, right? And then 49ers got 10 points in the third. Chiefs got 21 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so we went through that first half starting to think, well, I remember Rob saying specifically that it was looking like the Chiefs were just beginning to stomp on the 49ers.
Yeah.
Like they really didn't look like they were going to be able to put up much of a fight. And then they turned on a dime and all of a sudden were the ones in control of the game up through the third quarter. Like the game was back and forth through the majority of it, which was really fun to watch. It was a great Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. No, that was a good Super Bowl. Thank God for that, actually.
Yeah, we needed one like that.
We really
dude.
needed
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last
We
year
really
was
did.
terrible.
It really was. In fact, I think the halftime score was higher than last year's total score.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy G had 219 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. Pat Mahomes had 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks.
And a rushing touchdown.
And a rushing touchdown, yep. Damian Williams also had a touchdown, 104 yards on 17 carries.
Damian Williams, did we talk about him at all this year? Like, I don't even remember.
I
Well,
don't
talk about this
think
dude that
so.
much.
The Chiefs have just been running through like running backs for like the past like 3 months.
Yeah.
They've just gone through like 8 different running backs and they keep making it work. And that's
He just came out of nowhere and had a huge game.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, obviously credit goes to him for having he had a great game in the Super Bowl. I'm sure he's excited about that. But I would also say that partial credit at least goes to Andy fucking Reid, man. Like they putting together an attack like that where you can slot in whoever.
Damian Williams came in after Kareem Hunt got shipped out because they need another running back. Like, here's Damian Williams. He's a guy. And he was with the Dolphins for 4 years and didn't really do anything. And then Chiefs last year, he had 256 yards, 4 TDs on 50 carries, which is a 5-yard average, which is pretty solid. And then this year, he only had 498 yards and 5 TDs, 4.5 yards a carry on 111 carries, which is, still pretty good, but they didn't really run that much. And looking at the stats, like he had, to open the season, he ran 13 times for 26 yards and a touchdown against the Jaguars. Then 9 carries for 8 yards against the Raiders, 9 carries for 23 against the Colts. Like, he didn't really do anything. And then what week is it? The week after the Packer game, where he didn't do that much, he ran for 125 against the Vikings. And ever since then, he kind of did pretty all right.
Yeah, he's been like a part of the receiving game too. I mean, he caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl too.
Yeah. So honestly, he was kind of like a little X factor right there.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And then on the other side, the 49ers, I think they had a good running game this game, but they didn't have a great running game, and that was kind of an issue for him.
Yeah, they needed a great running game this game, like for sure.
Well, they needed to run the ball more, period. They only ran it about 20 times compared to the last couple of games that were obviously completely lopsided in the favor of the run. And they were in the lead for a good portion of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, and I wanted to look and see about time of possession, and it's honestly pretty close. I mean, the Niners had it less; they had 26 minutes, but the Chiefs only had 33. So
That they absolutely have no excuse not to have had more time of possession. Like the fourth quarter was obviously all Chiefs, but that was because they lost momentum because they called the wrong plays. They had Jimmy throw it 31 times, which is more than he threw it the last 2 games combined, like we talked about.
Yeah.
He didn't need to throw it that much, and he gave up 2 turnovers because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what we were talking about it during the game and during the live stream as well, obviously, which was that Shanahan's clock management was absolutely horrific in the fourth quarter.
It was really bad.
It was worse than Andy Reid's legendarily bad clock management. So, the Niners really have no one to blame but themselves because they had all the momentum. They were dominating. Their defense was playing outstandingly well, especially when they held KC to 0 in the third quarter. Like they had everything. Like coming out of halftime, usually that's if there's going to be any sort of ebb and flow in the momentum, it's going to be right after halftime. And San Francisco held on to it for the entire game until the second half of basically the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Like if you ask me, like if you're playing in the Super Bowl, when you get to the end of each half, you should have 0 fucking timeouts.
Absolutely.
Zero.
They were like gone. 10 total unused timeouts in the game in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, that's just crazy. Like, because the thing is, like, if you would look at like Kyle Shanahan's clock management, if that was in like a regular season game, you'd be like, okay, whatever. I mean, it could have done more to be more aggressive. But this is the fucking Super Bowl, dude. Play to win. Like, he could have when he was outside of that, like, outside of that 2-minute warning, they bled like 40 seconds
at the end of the first, right at the end of the first half, right? Like, God, it was abysmal.
Yeah,
I could not stand it.
Terrible idea. And then they basically ultimately just gave up on that 2-minute drill, and it's just like, why? I mean, I know that you're leading, but like, do you know
they weren't even at that point?
Oh yeah, and it's just like, what? Why? Like,
do you think he didn't trust? Do you think he didn't trust Garoppolo to throw it well?
Even if you're not, that's not your offense. Like, run your offense at least. But you have the time and the timeouts. At least try.
Yeah.
I
mean, and like, I mean, at the end of the game too, like there was that one big miss from Jimmy G with Sanders. But like that was another thing where it's like, in a situation like their 2-minute drill, why aren't they running more of these kind of like deep plays? It also, to be honest, I mean, and look, I'm no football expert or anything at all, but
what you're not wrong.
But it did kind of feel like their game plan, the Niners' game plan in particular, was like very milquetoast, and whereas like the Chiefs were coming in and bringing out a bunch of weird, tricky shit that they had
pirouetting on the goal line.
Yeah. Like that's what you need to do in the Super Bowl. Like you got to show them something they haven't seen before. Don't let them have a completely effective game plan for you.
In fact, I think a lot of the 49ers' successful plays were like end around, like wide receiver runs, where they were just like doing the old like 1-2 handoff, and then like end around, and then be like, whoa, there goes Emmanuel Sanders or Deebo Samuel for like 20 yards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the fact that the last time that Kyle Shanahan used a timeout in the Super Bowl was to BM the Chiefs after the game was over.
Yeah,
they had 2 timeouts remaining that they used in, I believe, under a minute left to go, when those 2 timeouts would have been much more useful when the game was actually still like, a game.
Yeah.
Forcing Mahomes to just like take the last play and burn 3 seconds and then heave the ball down the field. Like, why do you got to do that shit?
Yeah.
You're ruining the game for millions of people across the country.
It just shows how bad the clock management was. They had 2 timeouts that they burned at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm not a Niners fan. I never will be. But if I was a Niners fan, I would have gone absolutely ballistic. Like, why are you not using the timeouts? There's no next week. This is the Super Bowl. Like, that's it. I mean, this is what you're going to be based on for the rest of your career.
They also gave up a lot of big plays to like Tyreek Hill. That one like 3rd and 15, where they gave up like a 40-yard play or whatever it was.
The Niners D just completely shut down in the fourth quarter. Like the actual only time that you need to make sure that you're on top of your game, that's when the games are won or lost right there.
In fact,
you got to play defense.
Sammy Watkins said, Quote, I knew it was a one-on-one from watching the film, nodding to San Francisco's NFC Championship game win over the Packers. He said, I just thanked Devontae Adams because I saw him kill him on the inside release. So actually, the Packers helped the Chiefs a little bit.
Of course they did.
So yeah, at least something positive came out of that game. But yeah, it was, and it wasn't quite, like Falcons comeback, or Patriot comeback against the Falcons, but like it was still.
It was more like a Chiefs comeback against the Texans, or a Chiefs comeback against the Titans.
I think the Chiefs played behind like a good chunk of games this season, actually, and they just score a lot in the fourth quarter. And Pat Mahomes kind of had a mediocre game up until the fourth quarter where he went off, and I think that's why he got Super Bowl MVP, is just because he turned it up to like that elite level in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I actually, like, until that fourth quarter, that whole game. I mean, we were saying when we were watching it, like, he did look a little rattled, like, for the especially the first half. Like, he looked less so in the second half.
Oh yeah, he looked grounded.
Yeah, like, and I think but he ultimately, like, he came back and did made some serious plays, which is what you got to ask for of quarterback. Which, by the way, just gotta say, I am jealous of Chiefs fans in general because, like, I mean, not only because you just won the Super Bowl, but also because you got a QB who is going to be good for a long fucking time. And that's, like, for sure, honestly. At this point, like, I don't think... I honestly think that we've seen enough of Pat Mahomes to say, yeah, this dude is straight up the truth. Like,
he's got it.
There's no, I don't think there's any chance that he's going to regress to anything, at all coming up. In fact, he's probably only going to get better.
Yeah, we probably haven't seen his best form.
Yeah.
I mean, he won a Super Bowl MVP in his third career year. Like,
yeah. Yeah, and that's technically his second full season.
Yeah.
Too.
So. Yeah.
What's interesting too is that Jimmy Garoppolo, this was actually his first full season.
Yeah.
And this is his sixth season in the NFL. This is his first
he's
complete
like 28
season.
Or something, isn't he? Maybe
Yeah, he's 28. So it's kind of crazy to think, Pat Mahomes just won the Super Bowl like 24, 20, whatever he is, and then Jimmy G's like his first full season. I mean, he got to the Super Bowl his first season, but is he gonna? That's the big question.
He's got like 2 rings, doesn't he?
Well, he's got them, but he didn't really do anything.
I mean, he was there for moral support, I'm sure.
I guarantee when most people think of him tied to the Super Bowl, it's going to be missing an open receiver down the middle at the end of the game.
I'll tell you what, though, he's pretty.
Bear's right.
He's a
good
looking dude.
He's a very good-looking man.
Well, I think he's going to improve. The thing is, like, is he getting too old to improve? Because I don't think a lot of people have said that, but I think he can still improve.
I mean, like, I think we take age in weird context when we talk about sports. The dude's 28, meaning he's literally my age. I can still learn things. He can still learn things. Like, maybe he won't be able to run around as much as when he crosses like 35, but like, it's not going to affect his mind.
But Rob,
Rob.
Did you find the bread that you were looking for?
I mean, I did. I had a piece of bread with some butter before the podcast.
We were wondering if you had actually gotten that piece of bread.
Actually,
I did.
How old was Kurt Warner when he won?
Oh,
that was like his first year, right?
He was like
40? with the greatest show on turf. No, he was old.
Yeah, he was like 40 or something.
What? Kurt Warner's 48 right now.
Yeah, he's 48 right now. He was 28.
Oh, okay.
So he's as old as Jimmy G when he came in and won with them.
Except Kurt Warner won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah. And he also actually did really well that year. He had 41 touchdowns and 13 interceptions.
That was the greatest show on turf. That was an offense.
That was like a really good, because they had Marshall Faulk, they had Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. Those are
So,
good
what do you
teams.
guys think? Do you think the Niners this was like a fluke year, or you think they'll be back at least in contention?
Don't you worry, Rob. We've got post Super Bowl power rankings coming at you before the end of the year, so I'll let you
Well,
know.
From
We'll
what I
get there.
think, they kind of feel like a better version of the Bears from last year. And the hard part about that is you never know with like injuries and like maybe some guys leave and you fill them with worse guys, or somebody might regress, like Richard
Right.
Sherman could regret. Like there's so many different things where I learned way back in 2010 when the Packers won the Super Bowl. I was like, guys, dynasty. There's like 3 Super Bowls in a row coming in, and then it's not.
Yeah.
Every
And then
year
you don't go
has
back
its
to a
own.
Super Bowl since.
Yeah. Then you just lose 3 NFC Championship games. Wait, 4?
See-
3? 4? Oh no. Oh wait, no, divisional round. Okay, no, just end it.
See, I think they've got a good shot next year of like
Well, yeah.
doing something similar only because 2 seasons ago, they were what 4-12 or whatever, right? But
Yeah.
like everybody in the NFL was like watching highlights from them and being like, oh, they're gonna be spooky next year. So like they're like mid growth. So I think their like window is still open.
Well, it's definitely still
right
open,
now.
but I think
Yeah.
you watch the Cardinals are going to improve. The
Right, that's
Rams
true.
are going to get better because they had a like average season. Seahawks will
Well,
probably
they
be
might
there
get
again.
worse.
They might get worse,
Yeah.
that's true, but it's still going to be a competitive team. Seahawks will probably be there again because Russell Wilson.
True. Yeah, you're
I
right.
mean,
That
you're
is a
still gonna
really
have the
tough
Saints.
division.
Yeah, and then in the other parts, you still got the Packers and the Vikings. Bears will probably improve. Like the NFC East exists. I mean, that's the thing with every year when you make it this far, you want to win because you don't know what's going to happen the next year.
Yeah. You might
So,
never get back. I mean,
yeah.
the Chiefs are a good example of that, right? They
Yeah.
the last time they won the Super Bowl was Super Bowl what 4
Yeah.
or whatever.
Super Bowl 4.
50 years
50
ago.
years.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, you might even, even if they do, it's like you're gonna play the Ravens or something. Like that's not gonna be an easy game if you do get back. And they're gonna only get better with Lamar Jackson. So
Mhm.
it's you never know. Is what I'm trying to say. But it's a good season. And congrats to the Chiefs, man. Andy Reid getting that first Super Bowl. That's I think
Yeah.
they said he had the most playoff games without a Super Bowl like ever for a coach.
Yeah.
And what we were talking about earlier was just that it's kind of weird how unified most of the world is with the Super Bowl victory in the feeling of just being happy for Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like that was one of the sub trends on the Super Bowl was like happy for Andy Reid or happy for Reid or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just great. I mean, you loved it. It was so weird seeing him smile, and I thought it was a meme until I actually saw the clip. But he did actually, while hugging Patrick Mahomes on the mic, say that he cannot wait for that cheeseburger. He actually said that, and it was the most beautiful thing I had seen.
I just tried to open up the Andy Reid coaching tree as well, and it played some dumb YouTube video. Hold on. So it looks like, according to this, because I'm trying to just find like all the players that came from Andy Reid, or the coaches that came from Andy Reid. So Brad Childress, let's see, Todd Bowles, Doug Peterson, Sean McDermott, Matt Nagy, Ron Rivera, Leslie Frazier, Steve Spagnuolo, like John Harbaugh. Like that's all from the Andy Reid coaching tree.
Yeah, he's got like the most successful tree. Like and his his tree goes back because he was under
Like Holmgren, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who was under fucking what's his face? Dingle Heindelheimer.
Ah, yes.
Didn't Gruden coach with Holmgren? That and
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that-
So yeah.
In fact, it was Holmgren, and then Gruden, I think, was the quarterback coach for the Brett Favre and the Packers, and then Andy
Yeah.
Reid was the tight ends coach.
Yeah, the fucking Joe Montana guy.
Oh yeah,
I always forget his name.
West.
Every
Bill
time.
West.
Oh,
Bill West? Something West.
Jim West, Tame in the West. remember the name.
He made the West Coast offense.
Yeah, that guy.
Bill Walsh. That's it.
Bill Walsh.
Bill
that's
Walsh,
the
there you
one.
go.
Yeah.
We lost the Bear Taffy, by the way.
Oh. But yeah, I found this now. So yeah, Bill Walsh led to Mike Holmgren, which led to Steve Mariucci, Marty Morningweg,
The Mooch.
John Fox, Ray Rhodes, Mike Sherman, Andy Reid, Brad Childress, John Harbaugh.
And
then
that- and
Bill
so,
Walsh
like-
also led with Denny Green, which led to Brian Billick, Mike Tice, Jack Del Rio, Mike Smith, Tony Dungy, Lovey Smith, Mike
And you
Tomlin.
go-
Oh my God.
You go one step back, and you get to the godfather of modern football, which is Paul Brown.
Oh
You know,
wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, no. In fact, the West Coast offense, what's his face? I literally just forgot his name again. Said that the West Coast offense is pretty much just the offense that they were running in Cincinnati under Paul Brown. It just became the West Coast offense because he became so successful with it. I mean, granted, I'm not taking away anything away from him. He was a brilliant, genius fucking coach himself. But I'm just saying, like, it is funny how, like, you can trace that, like, the bloodline all the way back to the godfather of modern football.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, just looking at a lot of these coaching trees, it's kind of insane. Like even the Bill Parcells coaching tree led to Bill Belichick, Sean Payton, Tom Coughlin, Tony Sperano.
Oh yeah, Sean Payton did graduate from the Parcells.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a weird Bill Parcells in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's his nephew from Bob Parcells. There you go.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Oh yeah, I guess I don't know who Paul Hackett is. I feel like I've heard of him, but that led to John Gruden and Mike McCarthy. I didn't even know Mike McCarthy goes that far back. So the coaching trees, everybody. And then John Gruden led to Sean McVay or whatever the shit everybody's craving about now.
Coach, as a coach yourself, how do you feel about coaches?
Honestly, big fan of coaches helping players, rise up from the ashes and destroy their competition.
All right.
I don't know. I mean, some are good, some are bad. Take them both. There you have the facts of life.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. Also, the
Congrats,
halftime show.
Chiefs.
Halftime show happened. This is better than last year, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Shakira did her like,
Yeah.
and
Which I'm not exactly sure why that was done, but
Apparently, like I Jess is telling me that it's apparently just like a cultural thing. But yeah, no, the halftime performance, like the whole Super Bowl was better. It was a better game, and the halftime show was just like, honestly, like I don't even think it was a halftime show that like really blew me away or anything. Nor will I like look back on it as like one of the best ones. However, I thought it was quite good, and also just like 100 million times better than fucking Adam Levine slowly stripping.
I will say it is
the
pretty. It is pretty telling of the world we live in and society as a whole that all the Karens who were drooling over Adam Levine last year are now the ones calling on.
do they really have
the
to shake their
FCC.
butts up there?
I can't believe that.
Oh my
so low to
God.
show
Like, dude,
such,
There are children watching
such
this.
pornographic material to children. It's like, lady, have you ever seen porn? Because
Listen, lady, Shakira's like 47 and she's like shaking her ass like she's 20.
she was-
all right, let her go.
She's 43, but she
Listen.
still looks pretty good. That's not the point,
Yeah.
though.
She's
She did. I mean, like, yeah, and again, not to be creepy here, but
not to be
but,
creepy. I'm just saying she's got a great ass.
I would watch her take a
but I like
dump all
the
day.
That's
I'm
YouTube
kidding,
is now
I'm joking.
copyright struck us. This
Yeah.
channel will be down.
I don't know, but not to be creepy, but she looks like she's like 25. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of insane.
It's crazy.
Um,
It just goes to show you that nobody's ugly; they're just poor.
I don't know. I've seen some ugly rich people.
Yeah, I mean,
I think sometimes you just get a good combo. You got rich and genetics. Bada bing, bada boom.
for those of you who think we're speaking in jest, there is actually a small contingent of concerned moms out there who did say that they were disgusted with the amount of sexuality and pornographic material that the Super Bowl was proudly displaying.
I will say that there were some odd,
world.
like, J-Lo shots for, like, grinding her,
Yeah.
grinding her crotch
Yeah, I mean,
on the
yeah.
camera or whatever.
But I mean, also the commercials were super horny this year too. I mean, we
were.
got fucking Baby Nut. like, what the fuck?
Excuse me, Rob. They're not taking it in that context. Okay, it's called marketing. It's called marketing, sweetheart. Look it up.
Yeah.
Well, I've got some fun stats for you.
Okay.
Well, Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl in his first 6 seasons. Jimmy Garoppolo
Of course,
got
didn't
some
win with his
stats for
team.
you about the Super Bowl.
Packers.
here's some-
Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers has never
man,
lost a Super Bowl. He threw 3 touchdowns. Jimmy G only threw 1. Threw
Here's
0
another fact
interceptions
for you.
He's
losers.
a Super Bowl
Aaron
MVP.
Rodgers is prettier
guess what?
than Jimmy G.
Aaron Rodgers is a friend of Patrick Mahomes. Jimmy Garoppolo is not.
And a friend of the children.
And they've done the same insurance commercials.
That's true. Actually.
It is true.
Well, Tampa Bay won the only Super Bowl that they've ever been in, so technically we're undefeated in the Super Bowl.
It's a good- I mean, so are the
that's-
Jets.
Hey,
Yeah, there you go.
high fives all around.
All right.
So, Sinvicta, do you want to take it away for the NFL Power Rankings?
Here we go, Coach Krendor, NFL Power Rankings, NFL.com Power Rankings, guys. Now, I hate to break it to you, but there is no fattest dink or thinnest dink and fattest doink of the week. I'm sorry, I couldn't go back that far.
Damn.
But this is the preliminary final postseason wrap-up power rankings, looking into the playoffs for next year, all the way back to next year. Starting up with the top 5, Robert. In any order.
The Saints.
Yep. Coach.
Ravens.
Yep. Rob.
Well, Niners.
Yep. Coach.
Chiefs.
Yep. And Robert for the dunk.
Oh, that's a tough one. Seahawks.
I'll give you. That is incorrect. I'll give you. I was going to try to give you a hint. I'll give Coach the hint here as we go off to the. You get one more strike and you're out, Coach. Since there's only 2 of you.
Yeah.
But you are naming the 5th highest ranked team for the postseason, post Super Bowl power rankings. So you're picking number 5 here.
I know it's either the Packers or the Titans, and I'm gonna go with the Titans.
That is absolutely incorrect. It is the Green Bay Packers, Coach. That's what you get for betraying your own kind. The Packers finishing out the top 5 there. Number 5 Packers, number 4 Saints, 3 Ravens, 2 Niners, and of course the Chiefs, the Super Bowl winners, rounding out the number
Titans
1 spot.
6?
The Titans are 6th.
Okay.
Running and finishing out the top 10. 6th for the Titans, 7th for the Seahawks, 8th for the Patriots, 9th for the Texans, and I'll give you guys a bonus point back if you can name number 10. You can collab with each other. This is a group effort.
I think it's the Buffalo Bills.
Robert.
I didn't hear the question.
All right. That is absolutely correct. It is.
Oh.
Let's go.
Right, way to go,
Nice.
Rob. You put a lot of thought into that. You're probably reading Twitter right now. It was the Buffalo Bills 10-7, finishing out the top 10. Now we go down to Robert again. Rob, please pay attention for this because I need your undivided attention here. True or false? The New York Jets, your New York Jets, are ranked above the Cleveland Browns.
Ooh. You know, as much as I know that the NFL.com loves shitting on the Jets, I think they probably love shitting on the Browns more, so I'd say we're probably above.
That is 100% correct.
Ooh.
The New York Jets are indeed ranked above the Cleveland Browns. Jets coming in at 21st. Browns going down to 23rd. Now, Coach Krendor, this one's tough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just warning you right now, Coach. True or false? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the top 20 of the NFL Power Rankings and NFL.com Power Rankings going in from the post-Super Bowl era?
I'm gonna go with
True.
True.
Oh, we got
Whoa.
a bear.
That is absolutely, unbelievably, surprisingly correct. The Buccaneers have indeed made it somehow into the 19th spot. As long as, and I quote, let's not talk about Jameis Winston here. So thank you very much, Dan, for that one. And now that we have our Bear Taffy back, Bear, because I just got to ask you since you're back now. Name the 32nd worst or best team in the NFL Power Rankings, NFL.com Power Rank. I will give you some hints because there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
So I'll give you 2 hints. 1, they're in the NFC. 2, it will not surprise you, but this team has never been ranked 32nd, at least not to my recollection, in the past season. But when you hear who it is, you will not be surprised.
The Redskins.
It's a good guess, actually, really good guess. Except it's just not right. It is the. I tried to think of a better term other than just wrong.
It's the Lions, isn't it? Though is it the Detroit Lions?
It is the Detroit Lions.
Right,
I was trying to say wrong, but I was also trying to say something else, so it came out as trong. But it is indeed the Detroit Lions at the 32nd spot, finishing a 3-12-1 from last season. And they blame it on the Lions defense. So that is it for the power rankings, the final power rankings for going on in the offseason. Thank you, everyone, for making the power rankings so much fun to do. Good job to my co-hosts here. Well done. I don't know who was the top power rankings pickers. And we'll see you before the draft. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, they'll probably make some new power rankings. Honestly, like pre-draft power rankings or some shit.
Yeah.
So speaking of the draft again, it's the Bengals picking first. They're taking Joe Burrow. And then we got Redskins, Lions, Giants, Dolphins, who might be taking Tua, or a lot of teams might be trading up for Tua. And then right after that, Justin Herbert could go to the Chargers at 6, or might get, a trade happening there. So
I think the Dolphins take a QB, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, where they are. It's,
Justin Hebert, coach.
right. Okay. So, I mean, Dolphins taking Tua seems like it would fit. Like, they tanked for Tua, and then they didn't tank, but then they can still get Tua, and then he just sits behind Fitzmagic, learns about all his magic, learns all the tricks.
Remember when Tannehill played for the Dolphins?
Yeah, I remember that. That was funny.
Talk about the happiest guy in the world.
What's funny, though, is that the Dolphins are, like, literally in the same situation that we were when we got Darnold, which was, like, everyone was like, suck for Sam. And then, like, it got to the end of it got to the draft, and suddenly it had turned around, and Sam Darnold wasn't the top QB selection, and we still ended up, lucking into Sam Darnold anyway.
Yeah,
and, this episode is definitely getting demonetized with all the sucking and the baby nuts and all that stuff.
Yeah, don't use both of those words.
By the way, there's a center for LSU. They projected going to the Jets, and his name is Lloyd Cushenberry III.
That's incredible.
That is absolutely unbelievably awesome.
I love
At this
him.
point, NFL moms are just trying to outdo each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like these, we gotta be.
I think we're approaching. We've got to be approaching like a reasonable time period now when the first Key and Peele East-West Bowl came out as a skit, and it's like actually translating some real baby names.
Oh, no doubt. Yeater Gross Matos.
Wait, say that one more time for me.
Yeater Gross Matos.
Gross tomatoes.
Gross tomatoes.
Yeater.
LaVisca Chenault. Henry Ruggs the third. There's a lot of thirds coming in.
That's so great. Yeah. Henry Ruggs.
Dude, I hope Henry Ruggs has a breakout year.
Honestly, right now, the only enumerated player that I am for is Gardner Minshew, who
You only approve of people who take on the second or third illegitimately.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely
I only
illegitimately.
like the liars. Yeah, that's
That's next level memeism right there. It's
Yeah.
just-
His dad memed his birth. Like that's just come on.
Rob, do you
Like
think
naming a kid ketchup.
where the Jets are picking at 11, it looks like it's just offensive tackles and wide receivers. Do you think the Jets will take one of those?
I'm so it's it's not Madden, so it's not like every pick will have offers to trade down.
Hmm.
I think considering where we landed, I think we would be better off trading down because I don't think we have a lot. Yeah, we need a lot of help and we should accrue more picks. We've got 2 in the third, which is good, but
What if
Yeah, I
Jerry
mean-
Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb become like all pro wide receivers?
yeah, I mean it could be. There's the thing is like first round wide receivers aren't that awesome usually. Like in general, now taking an offensive line that would be dope.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy either way. But taking a wide receiver in the first round, I will have mixed feelings on, but ultimately happy that we went offense. But I think if we've got the opportunity, we should trade down, and because we need to rebuild our entire offensive line, like the whole fucking
Yeah.
thing.
I mean,
And we do need wide receivers too. Like we
Yeah.
need a wide receiver, and getting a first round receiver like somebody like a CeeDee Lamb could potentially be really great for us. So
yeah, and I mean, usually second round is like prime wide receiver territory.
yes,
Like
Yeah,
last year, they got AJ Brown.
I just looked up the last 5 years of first round wide receivers out of curiosity because you brought that up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Probably the best one is Devontae Parker.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah. That's see,
And then-
like it.
It goes
just-
pretty sharply down from that. Well, you got like Amari Cooper, who's pretty good. You got Will Fuller, who's pretty good, and then Nelson Aguilar, and then a whole bunch of people I've never seen or
Oh
heard.
no, Aguilar.
Yeah, and now look at like the second round wide receivers in that same time frame, and I bet you it's going to be filled with names. That
Oh
you know.
yeah, like even last year,
DK Metcalf is the rookie from
Yeah, that was
Oh,
most
yeah.
recent, yeah.
quite
Debo
good.
Samuel, AJ
Mhm.
Brown, McCole Hardman.
Christian
Mhm.
Kirk, he's somewhere, isn't he? I think that's a name.
Probably.
Oh yeah, he's with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Juju, second round.
Yep.
It's just
Devontae
this-
Adams was second round. Jordy
The
Nelson, Randall
second
Cobb.
round is pretty much where you get wide receivers. Like
Yeah.
first rounders tend to not be.
Unless it's
that
like Calvin Johnson or some shit.
yeah, right, exactly. Like if you've got like a super god, which honestly, like DK Metcalf probably last year should have been
Yeah.
treated as such, but he wasn't. And good fortune to the Seahawks.
Mm.
But yeah, unless there's like somebody who's just like crazy, I don't. Getting a receiver in the first round just doesn't really do it for me. However, again, if we do it, then at least we're getting offense, and I'm happy. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll talk more about that in a couple months because that's gonna do it for the year. So thanks for listening, and I was gonna say watching. There's nothing really to watch. I guess you could watch the live stream. So I'll be uploading that. Subscribe, follow, tell your friends, family, your dog, your football friends. Say, hey, there's this stupid ass show on the internet you should listen to, and get them to listen
Not
to it.
Star Wars, Rob.
And we'll see you in a month or so for the free agency show. And see you then.
Bye. Join us for free agency.
Woo!
Da-da-da.